Well, it's time for some more boomer magic slang. And let's see, in the past I've talked about what looting is and why it's called looting, what rummaging is and why it's called rummaging. And today I'm going to talk about something that came up in a conversation between me and a friend where I said a combo was as sweet as lure and a basilisk, and they had no idea what I was talking about. Alright, so I got to take you back to the way old days with basilisks. And you might be familiar with basilisks now in Magic the Gathering. They're usually green creatures with death touch. Well, back in the day, the original basilisks were a little different. They had this triggered ability which said that when a creature that was blocked or is blocked by a basilisk, basically you would destroy it at the end of combat, okay? So it had this delayed trigger thing happening, which is pretty cool. So what you would do is you would put an enchantment called Lure on your basilisk, which basically said all creatures have to block it, right? So what you would do is you would lure your basilisk, you would attack your opponent, and then no matter how many creatures they had, they would all have to block the basilisk, and then at the end of the combat, they would all get this trigger, they would all die. This is actually better than Death Touch, because Death Touch, you have to assign 1 point of Death Touch damage to each creature. So like, if they had 100 1/1s and you had a 5/5 Death Touch, you could only kill 5 of the 1/1s. But with this, if they had 100 1/1s, they would all block, and the basilisk would put triggers on all of them. They'd all die. Now, of course, in this situation, your basilisk probably dies too, unless you're doing something silly like playing Regeneration cards, which were very plentiful back in the day. So you would just regenerate your basilisk, and then do the same thing next turn, and basically just wipe them every single turn. It was pretty fun. Other interesting things you could do, there was a whole series of cards called Lycids, which were basically creatures that could turn into auras, and there was a Tempting Lycid, which was bluer basically. So what you could do is you could put the Tempting Lycid on your basilisk, attack with it, and then you could transform your Lycid after blocks back into a creature to save it, and then put it on something else. So pretty cool, but yeah, it was pretty sweet back in the day, wiping out people's entire boards with a lure basilisk. Yeah, these are some of my boomer terms. If you have one in particular that you'd like me to talk about or you use a lot, let me know in the comments. I'd love to cover more of these.